Yeah, hello, guys. This is Osman Cisse, owner of Gam Properties. It's been a while since I did this kind of a live video. So, I've done videos, of course. I just came back from Gambia. I did videos running around, but it's mostly just my voice in the videos and not my picture itself. So, that being said, today, my the purpose of this video is gonna be I talked to one of my customers and I told him, I'm gonna do a home ownership paperwork in the Gambia 101. So this is like a college course today. I don't know if it is a college course, but maybe we can call it college course for dummies. So you know what I mean. If you read like Microsoft Word for Dummies, Excel for Dummies, when I was going to college, some of these authors they will author this kind of books and call it for dummies. So it's like trying to teach the basics and trying to make it as simple as possible so that I'm assuming even dummies can understand it. I don't like that language, but you know what I mean. So this is going to be as simple as it gets so that everybody will hopefully have a clue as to how home ownership paperwork works in the Gambia. So before I get into that, because that one I'm gonna record this, so my daughter, if this doesn't work and I post it on separate videos, then my daughter is the one who misled me. She told me that I can record this on the phone because I want my face on this one, and then I will do the second half, which will be showing you the different paperworks of home ownership paperwork that we have done for our other lands, and then show you. And as I go through them, I'm explaining what is what, which one do you get to do first, and what comes next, and how do you get to the last phase of that paperwork and get it all completed. So this video, I like to do this one face to face, or at least I want my face to be in this one because, so many people will talk to me and they'll ask me, is your property lease? Is it a freehold? And most of the time I ask them, what is the difference between a freehold and a leasehold? And believe me or not, I have probably asked over 1,000 people this question since I started this, even before I start this business. Because for me, before I start the business, and that's what I tell a lot of people, before you even get to any business, that's when the real work begins. And you should do a lot of research and homework and analysis and all kinds of things to understand if this is something that you can do and be productive and effective. Is this something that you can do? Every business in this world is there to make money. There's no business in the world that's doing business for free. Even the so-called charitable organizations, they have executives that they pay, and those executives will look at what kind of charities do we need to get into to be able to collect enough things to be able to get paid adequately. So when I was doing my research, one of the questions that I keep asking people, and I'm talking about top executive in real estate companies. I'm not going to say the big real estate companies, of course, in the Gambia. I have not talked to any of those. But the small to medium scale real estate companies in the Gambia, because those I know are going to be my competitors, number one. Number two, those are the kind of people, the kind of real estate those people are engaging is what I'm going to be engaging in, because I cannot just start building houses like the big boys. So I figure out that let me talk to the folks that are just selling primarily land. And maybe if they pass selling land, maybe they just do fencing and little projects, but nothing big. And long behold, I asked many of those people, both their employees and some of the big guys there, and you know what I mean. And that one is it's not a whole lot of them in terms of the people that I asked, but some of those executives and some of those employees, you know what I mean? Their answers are just like the ones that I receive from some of the clients that call me, because some of the clients will call me and they'll post this question to me: is your property lease? Is it freehold? It is this, and I said, before I even go ahead and answer you, I don't mean to be rude, but Do you know the difference between a leasehold and a freehold? And majority of them will tell me yes. You know what I mean? Few will be honest and tell me no, you know, but majority of them will tell me yes. And if I say what's the difference, and they will say a leasehold, you lease it for 99 years and it expires. Freehold, you own it indefinitely, it doesn't expire. And I said, so if that's the case, why is freehold leasing a property way more expensive than just doing the freehold property? They don't have an answer for me. Some of them will call me, and those people, I will say, probably get it halfway. They will say that leasehold is much more the most secure home ownership in the Gambia. So today I want to give you the difference. You know, I told you I asked many people about this question, and only 2 people have correctly answered this for me based on my research. And if I'm wrong, somebody knows how to differentiate these 2 better. Bring it on. You know what I mean? Here we are here to learn, but based on my research, the main difference between a freehold and a leasehold, it's of course that leasehold expires in 99 years and you have to renew it. Freehold goes on indefinitely. But that's not the most important one. It's one of the differentiation, but it's not the most important one. The most important differentiation between a freehold and a leasehold is when you lease a property. You know, if you know Gambia, it's not well planned like the Western world. That's obvious. And now it's getting bigger and bigger. So when you look at it, if, for instance, an area, you know, and I'm just going to give you a scenario that might connect these dots. For instance, you live in an area and that area is growing and growing. There's no school, there's no hospital, and now the government determines this area is so big that we need a hospital here, we need a school. So they will look for strategic areas to put that school or hospital. So they might say, oh, it comes down to these 2 compounds, you know, compound A and compound B. And compound A is a free leasehold and a compound B is a freehold. So when they come to, because the government has a right to take any property to turn it into a school or something that's a common good for the people, hospital or something. So if they come and they want to take compound A and that's a leasehold, that person will tell them this compound is leased, and the government will say go and get the fair market value. So if they are to take that compound, they have to compensate you based on the fair market value. Let's say compound A has the same size land as compound B, the same kind of a housing as compound B. The leasehold property can go and say, come back and say, I went and I get appraisals, these are the paperwork, and this house is appraised at, I'm just giving example here, it's just hypothetical. This compound is appraised for, with the land and the structure and everything, is appraised for $10 million, just hypothetical. And the person in the freehold compound B, the government doesn't even have to tell that person to go and get an appraisal. The government, by virtue of being a freehold, the government can say, we appraise this compound B for $2 million. And we even appraise compound A for $2 million. But because compound A is a leasehold, they cannot take it without paying 10 million. But the compound B, that's a freehold, they can take it and just pay the 2 million. So that's the biggest and main difference between a leasehold and a freehold. And based on my research, and this is just my research that I've done, and based on my research and putting one and one together, I say, you know what? That's probably why the government said that leasehold has to expire every 99 years. Because if we want that land, we better wait until that lease expires in 99 years, and then we will refuse to renew that lease, and then now we can take it at a much cheaper rate. But that is the main reason people lease properties. So in the Gambia, if you buy a plot of land in an area that you probably suspect, or you probably reasonably can conclude that chances of the government ever coming and needing this property is nil to zero, why do you want to go and lease your property? Because leasing in the Gambia is expensive. We have done it for our house in Kirsering, and that's the only one. And at that point, I didn't even know the difference because I asked everybody, what's the difference? I went to college here and I'm a very curious person. I asked everybody, what's the difference between leasing and freehold? Even in the Gambia, when I was doing that in some of the offices in 2002, I will ask them, and nobody has given me any satisfactory answer. So based on my research, this is what I come to the conclusion is the main difference between leasing a property and owning a property freehold. So that being said, if you decide to lease your property, there's nothing wrong with that. You can go ahead and do it. To me, if you live in major highways, or if you have a compound on the major highways, the Gambia is a developing country and they are always trying to improve roads. You know what I mean? There are areas back in the days when they were selling these lands, there was not a whole lot of planning. So if you look at it, there was not a whole lot of planning. So, you know what I mean? They don't have reserves based on my understanding and my research and what I have seen there, that let's reserve this land for hospitals, let's reserve this land for school, let's reserve this for markets, let's reserve this for this or whatever, recreational areas and stuff like that. So now that the population is booming, from time to time, the government might come back and reassess the area and say, we need an elementary school in this area, we need a hospital in this area. And now they have to pick area that they want that to be in, and they have to take somebody's land and compensate you, of course. And that compensation is going to be, the amount of compensation you get is going to be determined by whether it's a leasehold or freehold. If it is a leasehold, the government have to compensate you based on fair market value. If it is a freehold, the government can compensate you based on what they think is the value of that property. So this tells you why the government is very reluctant to touch leasehold properties. Yes, unless there is no other way, they will always go ahead and take the freehold property. And this is my understanding of this stuff and based on my research. So I just want to bring that up. And I have looked at YouTube channels and I have looked at people that are selling land in the Gambia, and they are YouTubers, non-YouTubers, and people will ask them this question. They have no clue. For me, I have done research, asking people, and I definitely come to this conclusion. And unless somebody else can bring a better explanation, this is going to be the conclusion that I come up with. And I'm definitely standing by this conclusion for now. Okay, that being said, we'll dive into explaining the different paperwork in the Gambia and how you move from one area all the way to the end. And for that one, I will definitely want to bring one of the ones that we have done, so that, of course, you can see the receipts and payments, and then it will be in black and white. So I will stop this one for right now. And then my daughter promised that she can connect these two videos for me. And if she cannot, then I'll post them separate. But I just want to mention her name here. And if it doesn't connect together, that's our fault. All right. Thank you, guys. Yeah, hello. This is just something that I want to add on to the point that I was making. So, even for us, some of the folks that are watching this, maybe they own a home in the US here. We do own a home in the US here, in Alaska before, and in North Carolina now. And if we get our our property payment from the taxes that we pay, we get a report at the end of the year from our county. So when we get a report from the county, they appraise our property and they put a value attached to it. They will say your property based on our assessment is worth this much. And when we compare that to the market value, and how do I know market value? I will take, for example, I'm a member of Lending Tree. So I'll check on Lending Tree, and every month they update the value of our land here, and they appraise it for way more than what the county will appraise it for. And also, you know what I mean, we lived in Alaska before and we sold the house there to move here, and we used to get the same report from the municipality there, the city council or whatever. They send us report of how much our property is appraised for, and that's how they charge us taxes. And I remembered when we appraised our house to sell it, it appraised for way more than it appraised for and sold for way more than what the county was assessing it at. So the same thing holds for Gambia. So the government will assess and appraise properties for far lesser value than the market will. So you know what I mean. That's why when you have a freehold and the government takes it, it's cheaper for them. And the leasehold in the Gambia government has put stipulations that, you know, because you pay so much to lease it, if they are to take it, it would be fair to pay you the fair market value. So that's why the government doesn't like to touch those. So, you know what I mean? I just thought about that, and this is an add-on that I just put on, and then now I will join all these videos together, and then, you know, we'll take it from there. Again, you know what I mean? I don't even know which is coming first, which is coming next, but just want to say thank you very much. Appreciate it. And we'll hopefully answer your calls today, tomorrow, next day. And you know, I'm quite sure when people watch this, few might still have questions, and if they do, we'll definitely square it out for them. Again, thank you to all the subscribers. You know, appreciate it. If you know what I mean, you know, if anybody subscribe, we are happy people. If nobody subscribe, as long as they watch this and get something out of that, to me, that's the most important thing. Again, I just want to say thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys. Bye. Yeah, hello guys. I'm back here again. So I wanna I was trying to figure out how to best do this. I was gonna scan all of these documents and would have put them on the channel, but it has just so much of information, identifying information, and I don't wanna put something up that's not right. So you know what I mean, from the folks that we buy it from and all the different departments that sign this stuff. So I don't want to put up anybody's information that's not right to put up. So I have just decided that to hold them up to myself here, and then things that I don't mind you to see, I will just go ahead and saw that in totality, and things I don't want people to see, I might just cover and just saw a heading of that portion of the video. Okay, so this is our business license to start. So that's our business license, and it's saying that certificate of business registration and name of owner of business Usman Cisse, and then it says name of business Gam Properties, type of business real estate agency. So I think that's the one that I'm gonna highlight the most. There's type of business real estate agency. So we are place of business, it says Kersering, West Coast, the Gambia. So I will deal with one at a time, and I will throw it here. So this is just saying single window business registration, whatever that means. And it shows that we paid some money. Dallas is I definitely blacked that out to register the business. So I just want to make sure that I get this all covered today, but the purpose of this video, I'm gonna call it Home Gambia Home Ownership Paperwork 101. So this is another one that's showing that we registered with the Gambia Revenue Authority to pay taxes, and we have been paying our taxes quarterly. So it says Cisse Usman, Gam Properties, and it shows my date of birth and all that stuff, so that we pay our taxes and we follow due diligence. So when you start a paperwork for home ownership in the Gambia, I already mentioned what is the difference between a leased hold property and a freehold property. So I'm not gonna dive back into that. So this one I'm gonna talk about when you buy land in the Gambia, the first paperwork that you get is called the Alcalo transfer. So when you get that Alcalo transfer, so I had some YouTubers talking about if so nobody pays capital gains tax, you don't own that land, is bogus. Those people have never bought land in the Gambia, and they have clueless about land buying and selling in the Gambia. So until the capital gains tax is paid, the transfer is not complete. But that doesn't mean that you own the land. You know what I mean? You can buy a land that has capital gains tax been paid already, and in the end, that land can be in a lot of limbo. Somebody else can come and say, oh, somebody else sold it to me. I only did the Alcalo transfer. So to me, the most important thing when you buy land in the Gambia, and I'm going to say this again, and I've said it gazillions of times, is who am I buying this land from? That's the most important thing. People tell you this is how you authenticate buying a genuine land in the Gambia. Man, they are clueless. I bought so many lands in the Gambia. I'm still being robbed. I have 3 plots of land right now that we are, you know what I mean, walking around it to get it right because it wasn't done right. And I think I know this business. So if there is a place that you go to and they tell you this is a genuine land, tell me in the Gambia. Then we'll all be running there. I tell people the best thing that somebody can come up with and make money in the Gambia. And I'm giving this advice to all the Gambian youths who are studying computer science and stuff. Bring a database where anytime somebody sells land or there's a transfer of land at the Alcalo level, at the physical planning level, SAFOs, anybody who signed something to transfer land, take a copy and send it to these people and let them upload it to the database. That will tell us who signed what, when did you sign it, when did what transfer, when it transferred to whom, who is witnesses, and all of those things. It would have made it easier. And you can even charge money. Anybody who wants to come and get such a report can pay you money. But that's not the purpose of this video. So this video is about showing people how land ownership paperwork is done in the Gambia and the different levels. So like I said, the first time you buy land, the first thing you get is Alcalo transfer. And I mentioned the YouTubers and all of the people that are saying until capital gains tax is paid, you don't own the land. Bogus, they are wrong. We have bought so many land in the Gambia. The only thing that has ever been given to us, GAM Properties and myself, before we even start GAM Properties, me and my wife have bought so many land. As you can see, this is a land that we bought in Sanyang, and it is a 200 meters by 200 meters. And we bought this, and this is the only document that was given to us. We went and get our own, the next level. I will explain it. But this is the only thing that was given to us. Nothing else. No capital gains was paid. We paid all of that. We did all of the other levels of paperwork. But this is the first paperwork that a person gives you when they sell land to you. So almost everybody that sells land in the Gambia gives this away. And if you look at it, it will say who is selling the land, who are they. That's why I blacked out those names. It's saying who is selling the land, who are they selling it to, and this is me and my wife's name because at this time we haven't started this business. And it will talk about the size of the plot, and bottom here, this is a copy. So the bottom here will have the Alcalo stamp and signature. So this is a copy, so it's not great on that side, but this is a Alcalo transfer. So this is the first thing that you have. So when you have this, your next step is to go to most of the real estate. Let me backtrack. Most of the real estate companies that I'm aware of in the Gambia, this is the only thing that they give, the Alcalo transfer and nothing else. And so this Alcalo transfer, as far as I know, it will cost $5,000. It could be a little bit more, a little bit less in some of the villages, I'm not sure, but most of the places that I've dealt with so far, it will cost you $5,000 to get this Alcalo transfer. So once you get that Alcalo transfer, your next step is to go and get a physical planning transfer and sketch plan. So this one, as far as I am concerned, it costs $3,500 Gambian dollars. Sometimes, you know, you might get it less because this one you have to have somebody who knows how to do these measurements and measure it and put everything and put the coordinates and put the application in at the physical planning of the Gambia, and then they have to look at the coordinates and make sure that everything matches, and they approve it or they might not approve it. And it's not unusual for the first time, if people don't know what they are doing, they will disapprove it, say the coordinates are not correct, you have to go back. Because Gambia, most of these locals, they don't even know where their land starts and where it ends. They know they own this area, but they don't know where it where it begins and where it ends. So that's a problem. So let me look at this to make sure that there is no identifying stuff before I put it up there. So this one, I don't have one for my own 200 by 200 that I just saw you. So this is one of the ones we did for a customer in Sanyang. She bought a plot from us in Sanyang. So let me just make sure everything is blacked out here before I put this thing up. Hopefully not. Okay, so you will get a transfer like this. It says it's a transfer from the physical planning. So it will say Republic of the Gambia Department of Physical Planning, and then it will have transfer on top. So if you can look at it here, it will say transfer, and it will give the name of the person that the plot is being transferred to, and it will tell you what the size of the land is. This size of the land is 920 square meters. Ours is 40,000 square meters, the one that I saw you, the Alcalo transfer. But this is the second one that you get. Let me make sure that the sketch plan doesn't have any identifying stuff. Oops, I see one identifying stuff, so I'm gonna cover it with this here. I of course black them out, but I mistake. So you see, I covered the person's name, but it will show you a sketch plan. So a sketch plan. Okay, this is good. I can just cover this here because they are identifying, and I don't want to show anybody's information. But you see the sketch plan here, if you can see, will show a sketch of the plots that we have for sale at Sanyang, and it will show you the plot now that is transferred to this one person. So this is how things go. So this is the second leg of your paperwork in the Gambia. So number one, you do the Alcalo transfer, it costs you 5,000. Number two, you do the physical planning transfer and sketch plan, and that's the number two, and that costs 3,500. And I want you to understand, because it might get a little bit confusing in the end. So as we move around. So when you read up here, I don't know if you can see, but I would read it. You know what I mean? So to me, I was gonna put all of these things on the video so that people can see it better. But I figured out, you know what I mean, this is legal stuff here now. So, you know, I just want to help people to understand this, but it's legal stuff, and I don't want to put anybody's name or information, or even my own information up there that's not warranted. So this one says sketch plan showing a plot of land at Sanyang Combo South District, West Coast region, owned by GAM Properties, now to be transferred to, given that name, and measuring about 23 meters by 40 meters by 23 meters by 40 meters. So hopefully that helps you. And remember, it's saying now to be transferred. So this means that the transfer is not complete until you pay that capital gains tax. But now to be transferred. But once you have this paperwork, and our company will do this part. We do the Alcalo transfer at Sanyang, and we do the second part, the physical planning transfer. And we do it for our Jiboro plots. And the next part is going to be the transfer and the occupancy. And we don't do that. And majority of the small companies in the Gambia, they don't mess with that. Because once I start showing you what goes on in there, you will understand. And this is how some of the lawyers make their money in the Gambia, because they will do this and they will charge you a hefty price. Now our company have decided, because a couple of our customers, good customers, they have bought from us in Jiboro and they have paid everything. We got them their Alcalo transfers, and I will do a video to show that we get them their Alcalo transfers, just to black out all of their information. They approved it. So to show you that they pressured us to get them the occupancy, everything, they say capital gains tax, because some of the YouTubers are scaring people, saying if capital gains tax is not paid, you don't own the land, it's bogus. I bought several lands and I've never been given even a physical planning transfer and sketch plan. All I've been given is Alcalo transfer. I did the rest of the legwork. So once you finish with the Alcalo transfer and the physical planning and transfer and sketch plan, and the reason we even went forward to start doing the physical planning transfer, we agreed to do the physical planning transfer and sketch plan, even though my research and investigation has shown me that majority of the small companies in the Gambia, they don't give you none of that, just the Alcalo transfer. We did it because we realized that that's the first place usually people start to understand that there's a problem. And this is a video for another day, because some of those locals, they don't own anything other than Alcalo transfer. So if they sell you a plot and give you Alcalo transfer, they sell it to another person, give them an Alcalo transfer, sell it to a third person and give them an Alcalo transfer. The first person to go to physical planning will get the physical planning sketch plan and transfer approved. So everyone that comes subsequent after that one person, we run into the fact that somebody already has a physical planning transfer and sketch plan. So that's why our company decided, you know, this is where the problem starts. So let's go ahead and do this one. So the next, after you finish that, you said, oh, I finished my Alcalo transfer and I finished my physical planning and sketch plan, physical planning transfer and sketch plan. The next leg of getting into your freehold is to do what they said, what they call transfer. If you remember the sketch plan, so that begins with, let's just go ahead and I'm gonna put this up. I don't know if this has any identifying information here. I didn't see any. So you go to EcoBank and you pay $7,000. So that's the next part of the transfer, to complete the transfer. When you go to EcoBank, you pay $7,000. They will give you a form, or they will give you a receipt, and then you will, that's this receipt, of course. They'll give you this receipt, the $7,000 you paid at EcoBank. Then you will go to Birkama Area Council, and I see some identifying stuff here. So I'm just gonna Birkama Area Council. I will just go ahead and say that's Birkama Area Council. Hopefully you can see that. It's Birkama Area Council. And I see some identifying stuff. So I don't want our identifying stuff to be there. So, and then I look at here and I see 7,000. So it's the same 7,000 you paid at EcoBank. They just give you another receipt at Birkama Area Council. And even at Birkama Area Council, if you look at up here, it says EcoBank. So they are just giving you another receipt that basically, you know what I mean, this is the EcoBank receipt, 7,000, and they give you another receipt just to say that you paid at EcoBank 7,000. So once they do that, you see, these are redundant. You see, they have another, maybe this is just a copy, but this is another, the same $7,000, showing that you paid it at EcoBank. So hopefully none of our stuffs are revealed here. Okay. So they give you another receipt showing that you pay 7,000 at EcoBank. Okay. So, but this one, there's another receipt on the bottom here that I'm gonna need in the little bit, and I will leave that here. So EcoBank, once you give them that receipt, they will give you what is called, let me just make sure I didn't see any name here. Okay, I see a name here, so I will just go ahead and, so they will give you this, and it says, I will go like this, and it says transfer of land ownership. So Birkama Area Council, you give them that receipt, 7,000, they will give you this form to start your transfer, and it says transfer of land ownership. So this is where the lawyers make their money. And I'm not even endorsing lawyers. I'm telling you, some of the lawyers in the Gambia, in my opinion and experience, me and my wife, the house that we have in Kirsering, when we went and wanted to add her name, because when I bought that plot, we were not married. So when we got married, I wanted to add her name onto the plot, and we paid a licensed lawyer in the Gambia. And I'm not going to say the amount. We paid him, and he took our money, and he couldn't add her name. The guy that hooked me up with that lawyer is the guy who completed building our compound in the Gambia. And he ended up telling me, and this is all on recording, to me, everything I say is going to be straight shoot. So he ended up telling me that guy is a lawyer, but he's clueless in real estate law. So, you know, he won't return my money. But if I have another case that he can handle, he will handle it for me. Think about that crazy thing. You know, you don't know, have a clue on something, and you take somebody's money. So even if you pay somebody money, man, I'll take Musu over any of these lawyers, to be honest with you, and I'm on record saying it. I know they might be angry with me on this one, but Musu do us all of this thing, and we don't pay a lawyer. This lady is crazy. You know what I mean? She has made mistakes before I went to Gambia, and I posted it, and I saw know some people put comments, but this is why I love this lady. And she runs our account in the Gambia, and I'm the sole proprietor for this account. So I'm the only one who can sign, and I sign all the checks and leave it there. And every time I look at that account, it's exactly as it should be. Everything is balanced, and everything she does, she sends me paperwork, and everything checks out. So that being said, you see, this is the transfer. Okay? So the transfer, the problem why you need, most people don't get into this. You will understand it as I move along. So once they give you this form, I will go ahead and bend it here. It has signatures, but I don't think that will make a lot of things here difficult, because you won't be able to see. But you can see here, I'm just going to say, you see a lot of signatures from kind of here all the way down is a lot of signatures. So if I look at this paper here, and it should say that 7,000 non-refundable, is not the same 7,000. But if you look at it, it will say that you need the district CFO. The CFO needs to sign. So you have to go to the CFO and you pay. Before it was 2,500. As a matter of fact, Musu just completed a transfer for one of our lands today. That's how crazy quick this lady does this. And I hear some YouTubers and some other people saying this can take you 8 months, 12 months, this and this. Musu does this in a very short period of time. So this transfer, Musu completed. She started it right before I went to Gambia, and the Toboski delayed stuff. So she completed the transfer. So, but that's not the point of this. So this transfer, you can see, it has the village Alcalo has to sign. So if you buy the plot from Sanyang, the Alcalo of Sanyang has to sign and you pay $2,000. The CFO has to sign before you pay $2,500, but Musu said that this time around, she paid $3,000. They have increased it. So $2,000 to the Alcalo to sign, $3,000 to the CFO to sign. You have to go to the Birkama Area Council CEO, they have to sign. You have to go to, I think, the governor's office, somebody has to sign. Physical plan, somebody have to sign. So many signatures you need on this. This is why the problem gets dicey. For you to get all these signatures, that's why you pay lawyers hefty money to get this. Okay, so that's the transfer, right? So, and sorry, I forgot one more thing. So the transfer, before even the transfer complete, the biggest thing that you need for this transfer to complete is the capital gains, the model load of everything that people are scared of and telling me. So physical planning, GRA, they have a paperwork for, this is just a blank paperwork. This is the paperwork for your calculating capital gains tax. So capital gains tax is supposed to be paid by the person who is selling the land. That is correct. But in the Gambia, it's okay that people have been doing this for years and years and years. You go buy land from these local people. They tell you, I'm not messing with capital gains tax. I'm not doing fiscal planning. I'm not doing anything, but I sell it to you for reasonable price. We sell this land. We say, you know what? Majority of these small companies, they don't even have time to do this and this stuff. They don't even know how this paperwork works in the first place. So if they were to do this for you, it will take them forever. They cannot even explain what I'm explaining. Go and ask a lot of people. I don't think anybody has ever done this kind of video, and I took the challenge to do it. So looking at this stuff, this is the capital gains tax paperwork, and it's a 3-page here, and you have to calculate your capital gains. Okay, right? 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages. So I'm gonna read here. So many people think that capital gains is only supposed to be paid when you buy land. That's bogus. People don't even understand this. So capital gains is paid anytime you buy certain, anytime you sell certain assets that meet the criteria for capital gains. Anytime you sell certain assets and you get a gain, you are supposed to report it and pay taxes. I'm not going to go through all of that, but it says chargeable assets. That means assets that qualify for capital gains. It listed them. It's a whole bunch here. You can see it's not just land. It's a whole bunch. I don't even know if it mentions on land per se, but I would read them. It says any land, building, even a building, if you sell it and you get a gain, it says any land, building, or other structural improvement to land. Any plant, machinery, fixture, or equipment, any share, security, or financial asset, any interest in a partnership, or any right, title, or interest in an asset referred to in sub-paragraph 1, 2, 3, and 4. This must be furnished to the Commissioner General within 30 days of the disposal of realization. So anytime you have this kind of assets and you move it, sell it, and you realize a gain, you have to report it within 30 days and you have to pay capital gains. So that being said, how is this calculated, capital gains? So capital gains is calculated, I'm not going to get into this stuff because I'm not an expert in this area. But even in the United States here, we pay capital gains. So anytime you buy a land, let's say you buy a land from me and I'm selling it to you. When I sell it to you, I have to report that I have a gain from it. I'm just giving hypotheticals here. Let's say I bought a big plot of land that we are demarcating in Jiboro. Let's say each of those plots for me cost me 30,000. I'm just throwing this out. I don't want anybody coming and telling me, oh, that's what you paid for it, this and this cost me 30,000. I'm just giving the example, or 20,000, or 10,000, or 50,000, whatever. It cost me, let's just go with the 30,000. It cost me $30,000 each of those plots. And then I take those plots and I go ahead and make improvement on them. Let's say each of those plots, I did an improvement of $5,000. And now I sell that plot for $50,000. What is my gain? It's $15,000 if I'm correct, because I paid $30,000 to buy that plot of land. I put an improvement of $5,000, that becomes $35,000. I sell it for $50,000. Now I have a gain of $15,000. So the government said, you know what? If you are a sole proprietor or if you are an individual, now you have to pay a gain on that plot. It's gonna be 15% of the gain. So if you multiply 15% by I don't know if I have my calculator here, so I'm sitting here and I'm using my phone, so that's my calculator. So don't judge me on the math here, but you calculate 15% of 15,000. How much is that? 15% of 15,000, I don't even know, whatever that is. And then 5% of the price that you sold it for. I can do that one, is going to be much easier. So 5% of 50,000. I sold it for 50,000. 5% of 50,000 is what? 5% of 50,000 is what? Anybody help me? I know this is not live, so nobody can help me. But hopefully you can get it. So 5% of 50,000, that will be 20. So 50,000 divided by 20 will be 50,000 divided by 20 will be 5,000, will be, I think, 2,500. So 5% of 50,000 is 2,500. The capital gains tax you're supposed to pay is 15% of 15,000. And I don't know how much 15% of 15,000 is, but let's say 15% of 15,000 is 3,000. Hypothetically, I did not do the math, so don't think that I'm dummy here. So I didn't do that math, but I just pull it out of the blue. I say 15% of 15,000 is 15% of 15,000 is $3,000, and 5% of 50,000 is 2,500. The greater one is 3,000. So your capital gains tax that you're supposed to pay is 3,000. Let's take the same scenario and say that 5% of that 50,000 is still 2,500, but you calculated the 15% of your gain from the sale of that property and it is 2,000. The government say you pay 2,500 because it's the higher of the two. So this is capital gains. So people don't even understand this stuff. So this is the capital gain. So you pay that capital gains. Now I'm going to throw all this paperwork. You know, this is just to calculate that, and it has all these kind of things, and it's just going to, so all this form is just saying you have to get my TIN number because I'm the one selling it to you. So my TIN number have to be there, and I'm going to show I'm selling this to you, and then that part I'm going to have to sign all of these things. You have to sign, and all this kind, TIN numbers, ID card, copies, and all of these things, and all your addresses and stuff have to be in here. So that's what the rest of the paperwork is, but that's how this thing works. So if it was a corporation, so it says too, so if this was a company selling the property instead of an individual or a sole proprietor. So in my case, I'm a lucky person, I'm a sole proprietor. But if this was a bigger company, a corporation, a company, a partnership, the government said you have to pay 10% of the value of the land or 25% of your capital gains, whichever is higher. So I don't want people coming back and say, oh, I see on the form, because it's somewhere on the form there, it says 5% or 15% and 10% or 25%. That's where that come from. But I'm just going to stick with the 5% and 15% because I am a sole proprietor, and that's what is going to be charged to my customers, 5% or 15%. So now after you have that, I'm going to go back to the transfer of land, right? We go back to the transfer of land ownership here. Now you pay the capital gains. That's the model load to complete this transfer. So now you pay that capital gains. Now I told you, you have all these signatures. The last signature that you will need to complete this transfer, of course, is going to be somebody from, I think, GRA to have to sign this, if I'm not mistaken, after you pay the capital gains. But you go back to Brikama Area Council, and the CEO of Brikama Area Council have to sign once you show them that you paid the capital gains to complete the transfer, and you have to pay them that place $1,000 to complete the transfer. Okay, so that being said, and I will show you the receipt for the $1,000, see if I can find it. Okay, so this is the, okay, no, sorry, the $1,000 you paid when you do the occupancy. So the transfer is complete now. Oh Lordy, so my battery is low here, so I don't know if that's showing there. So I'm gonna do this 911 here because I don't know if I can charge this or do any of these things. So that's for occupancy. So I will wait for that one too, as it is here. So once you pay your capital gains tax, it's saying here. So I'm just gonna show you quick and say here, it's saying that certificate issued for a plot of land situated at Sanyang, now assigned to Usman Sise and Anna Aymane. So income tax clearance certificate, capital gains tax. This certificate is issued without any erasure or alteration. So basically, this is just saying that we have paid our capital gains tax. We have done everything that's supposed to be done, and our transfer is complete. So I'm gonna show you. So after you do that, then you have to go and pay $200 to the, I think this one Musu said at the governor's office, $200. I'm just gonna flip it. I don't think I see anything other than my name and Anna's name. So you pay this, and it says in payment of land use report. So you pay this $200, and then you go ahead and get a land use report. Let me see, where did I see that? Okay, that's the next one here. So you pay that 200, then you go ahead and get your land use report. So if you see here, it says land use report, Republic of the Gambia, Department of Physical Planning, and it says land use report. Okay, so I would read what it says. I don't wanna, it says that for plot of land shown in the endorsed sketch, so land use report, and then you paid $5,000 to this physical planning to get a, this is not even, yes, so this is a new transfer. Let me backtrack that. So you pay that $200 there, and then you take that $200 to physical planning to get a land use report, and also you pay another $5,000 to the passing that does sketch plan, because you have to get another sketch plan. And now when I show you this sketch plan, it will kind of make sense why you have to do all these sketch plans. Somebody might say, oh, you have done it before, why are you doing it again? And it will make sense. So now you will get a land use report, and that's also called a transfer, to basically complete your transfer. So for you to complete your transfer, you did your capital gains and you get that transfer paperwork all signed. But now you need another paperwork, and it will look like the sketch plan and transfer you get from physical planning. And this one is also from physical planning. And this one, you pay the guy that's doing the sketch for you. You pay them $5,000. So that guy that's doing the sketch, you pay them $5,000. They go ahead and do all the sketch again. And I will show you, it says land use report. And it says land use report for a plot of land in Sanyang, Combo South. And it says for the plot of land shown in the endorsed sketch plan. And the sketch plan is here, I'll show you that. Located at Sanyang village, I hereby confirm the plot on inspection by the department was found to be within the old settlement, new settlement fringe of Sanyang village, measuring 40,000 square meters. So I told you our plot is 200 by 200. So if you look at here, it says 40,000 square meters. And it says you are requested to inform the applicant that the plot is suitable for agriculture. So land is transferred now. Physical planning is saying that, hey, this is suitable for agriculture. And this is to prepare you for occupancy. So you have to, if you didn't want to do occupancy, then you would not even have gone back to fiscal planning. But now you want to go and do occupancy. And now fiscal planning is saying, hey, this is suitable for agriculture. So hopefully it's not too confusing, but now I will show you the sketch plan and now you will understand what it means now. I will cover the name of the person. I don't want these names to be shown, of course, definitely. I don't mind our names. So now you see the sketch plan is saying here. You know, before it was saying now to be transferred to from GAM properties to these people. Now it's saying now it's transferred. The transfer is complete because you have paid your capital gains tax. Before the transfer was incomplete, it's complete to some extent, but it wasn't 100% complete. But now it's saying it's complete 100%. You paid the capital gains tax, you did everything that you're supposed to do. Now all you have to do is finish your occupancy. Okay? So I will leave it at that. So now you see it's showing our 200 by 200. Now you won't see the name of the other person saying now to be transferred. Okay, so it will say now transferred. Before it was saying on the sketch plan now to be transferred. Now it's saying now transferred. It's complete. So, and I told people before, I'm gonna look at through the sketch plan again and just show you the other sketch plan quick so that it can kind of make a little bit sense. So if you look at this sketch plan, this is the first one you get after the Alcalo transfer. You see, it's saying now to be transferred. And the other one that I saw you after the transfer, it's complete, it says now transferred. But people misconstrue this and say, oh, when I have this, that means I don't own the plot. Or you own the plot, you know what I mean? If you buy the plot from a reputable company, you definitely own the plot. And I will show you, people also always ask me, can I start fencing after the sketch plan and fiscal planning transfer, the initial one? Right after the Alcalo transfer, then you get the sketch plan and fiscal planning transfer. People ask me, can I go ahead and start fencing? Of course you can, based on what I know. And this is the fiscal planning transfer, the initial one after the Alcalo transfer, before we even complete the transfer. And on the bottom here, I will read what it says. It says, this report does not determine, it says you must obtain a development permit before the commencement of any work, example, fencing or building, etc. So if you were not allowed to fence or do anything, I would say it will be a straight to start building without completing your transfer. But the fencing, you can definitely start it. And if you want to do a security housing, you can definitely start it. Fencing, we encourage our customers to fence as soon as possible. Because in the Gambia, everybody knows that these locals, they don't even know where their land begins and ends. Man, when I go there and they measure land sometimes, I have to buy my own tape measure, and the guy that I go with, we measure everything to be perfect. But when they measure, they will just walk and tell you, this is this many meters. And I'm like, this is crazy. But this is the initial fiscal planning transfer that you get after the Alcalo transfer. And this one, you haven't even completed the transfer. And it's saying that you have to obtain a development permit before the commencement of any work, example, fencing and building, etc. I can tell you, this is not an easy joke. Now we completed the transfer. So now we come to the final phase before the final phase of this business to get your occupancy. And what does occupancy do? Occupancy, you start with that fiscal planning, sketch plan and transfer. Then you have to go to the Alcalo again. Of course, you have to go and get a certificate of occupancy of land. So I'm gonna show you here. This is all my name, so I don't mind showing people my name. So if you look at this, and I will read them so that it's easier. It says occupancy of certificate of occupancy of land held under customary tenancy on year-to-year tenancy. We, the undersigned, have checked any checked and hereby certified that Mr. and Mrs. Usman Sise and Anna Aymane has been holding the land situated at Sanyang village for the purpose of agricultural as shown in the location plan attached to this certificate. So the plan, that sketch plan that you get from physical planning and you pay that 5,000, that comes attached to this one. So they are saying that it's suitable for agriculture. And when you get this again, and I will see that it has the Alcalo signature, and I'm gonna just show you that part here. I'm not gonna show their signatures, but if you can look at here, it says signature and name of Alcalo, Alcali. It put Alcali, but it's Alcalo. Alcali, I think it's plural, so whatever. It's Alcalo, and it says that signature and name of Sefo. So you see, this is the second time for the occupancy. You go back to the Sefo and you pay 2,500. Musu says now it's 3,000. You pay that. You go back to the Alcalo, you pay another 2,000, and they sign for you. So once they sign for you, and the 1,000 that I mentioned earlier goes with the transfer. The CEO, for them to sign, you pay $1,000, and I will show you that $1,000 receipt. No, it's for the occupancy, sorry, because it says here occupancy. So it's the occupancy. So when you do this occupancy, underneath here, it says signature. Okay, right here, it says signature. And I'm not going to show that, but it says signature of the Chief Executive, Birkama Area Council. So the Birkama Area Council CEO have to sign the occupancy to say that now this land is suitable for agriculture. For in the case of many that are buying from me, it's probably going to be buying for to build a house, residency. You can also say occupancy is going to be business. You know, you're going to build business stuff there. So it depends on. So for that CEO to sign that one, you have to pay $1,000. And it's right here. $1,000 is paid for the CEO to sign that occupancy. That's the fee. So everything here, now after you finish all of that, you get your certificate of occupancy. Now this certificate is complete, the certificate of occupancy. So some of this this is a land use report. I have this earlier, so these are redundant. So I will just let that go there. And so once you finish your occupancy now, certificate of occupancy, now you have to pay $150. This is called rates, and it's your tax. So when you own a plot of land in anywhere in these villages, until you start building anything on it, your yearly tax is $150. So $150. After you developed it, your tax will go up a little bit. But taxes in the Gambia are not expensive. This tells you that, $150. So that's your rate. Okay, this was just showing the 7,000. So this is also showing the $150. You see, some of them I have them duplicate, and this is $150. I'm gonna throw that. So once you finish that, now your occupancy is complete. This is called freehold land. So next level of ownership is leasing. If you decide to go further and lease your land, that's up to you. You know what I mean? I don't advise anybody. I don't want anybody to come any day in the future and say, you put on your channel that you advise me not to lease my land. I don't lease any of my lands unless if I'm on a major highway. We leased our compound in Senegambia because at that time, that's what everybody told me. That's the best way that's the best way to secure your property. And I don't even know what the heck that means at that time, to be honest with you. And nobody could tell me what leasing, the difference between leasing and freehold ownership is. So I'm going to talk about something here, then I will go back to the beginning of this video and I will just clarify one more thing there. Okay, so right now, the next thing here I'm going to show, I don't even think majority of the Gambians know this thing exists because nobody has ever told me. And I have told many people and they laugh at me. My wife, the first time I told her that we got this kind of a permit, she thought that I was joking. So people know that if you are building in the Gambia, you need to go and get a building permit. But if you are fencing, you need to go and get a fencing permit. Without getting a fencing permit, you are violating the laws of the Gambia. So we have a fencing permit for our Sanyang. All of our plots in Sanyang, not all of our plots because we are selling some, but the ones that we decided to keep and turn them into farmland. The 200 by 200, the 200 by 100 and the 100 by 100. So I'm gonna show you here. It says for the purpose of what? Fencing. So this black thing says for the purpose of fencing. Okay, so I'm gonna read it. It says, I didn't look at this and I want to get this video out so that I can talk to people. It says, in accordance with the plans, specifications, and other particular approved on the 12th day of November, I'm not going to say year and stuff like that, and subject to the conditions endorsed hereon and the provision of the development control regulations, this permit shall be valid until 12th day of November 2022. So we have until 2022 in November to fence that thing, or else this fencing permit is void. Okay, so this shows people that we know what we are talking about. And it behooves anybody that's going to the Gambia, in the US, in China, in anywhere. If you are getting into a business, you need to research and understand what connects all of these dots. You know what I mean? And if you don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know. And all of these things I've said, you know what I mean? This is a lot of paperwork. I know probably some of you are confused by now, just like I'm confused each time I talked about this. And I've seen this many, many times. We've done it for many of our compounds, and I still get confused. So if you are confused, no big deal. I told one of my guys, he's a subscriber, and we touched base today, leaving message he left messages and I left messages for him. I said, once you listen to all of this and you don't understand it, I said, then you will need a lesson, one-on-one lesson. And at that point, that's going to be fees. I said, this one is free, but when you call me for one-on-one lessons, it's going to be, you're going to have to pay me for that one. So this is showing that we paid some money, and I'm not going to share. So this is just a receipt for the fencing permit. So we paid for the fencing permit. They give us a receipt, and the amount is down here saying that we paid for that. And this is also part of the fencing permit. It's just saying that the date that the fencing permit was approved, and it says what day is going to expire. So I have explained all of that. So that being said, I'm gonna stop this video here, and hopefully somebody learned something. So if we can recap, I will say that the first thing that you do with home ownership is to start with your, and let me just backtrack here quick. And with all these fees that I calculated, I told some of my customers, all the fees and I'm not talking about the capital gains because that's a gray area, as you can see, but all the other fees that are attached to this land transfer and occupancy, it's about $23,000, $24,000. And then the capital gains tax, it's another extra that adds to that. So, and I want people to understand that, you know what I mean? Some people think that, oh, you do all the paperwork. That's what I was thinking. So imagine if I have done the Alcalo transfer and I pay $5,000. And I do the physical planning, transfer and sketch plan, and I pay $3,500. And I did all of these things for you, the transfer and occupancy, that cost me $23,000, $24,000, just the payments that you see, plus the capital gains. Let's say the capital gains is $5,000. I'm just hypothetical. $5,000 plus $23,000, $24,000. You are talking about almost $30,000, plus the $5,000 that I pay the Alcalo is $35,000, plus the $3,500 that I pay to the physical planning guy to do the sketch and all of this physical planning, transfer and paperwork. $3,500 plus $5,000, $8,000 plus $30,000. Let's say $38,500, almost $40,000 that I pay to get you your land. And I haven't even accounted for what I paid for that land in the first place, and all the clearing that I paid to clear that, the pegging that I paid to be done, driving back and forth, gas going there. So I tell people, what is the use of me selling this land? Does it make sense to you? And I want to bring this up so that people can understand. When somebody said, I don't do this paperwork, I hate to endorse all of those small companies. I don't know how much they are selling. But for us, the numbers are out. So if I buy a land, let's say if that land cost me, each plot cost me even $20,000 before I sell it. I'm just saying, even if everything that I put on it, each of those plots I'm selling cost me $20,000, plus that $40,000 that I spend is $60,000. And I sell that to you for $50,000 and I'm getting a $10,000 loss. So hopefully this is an education for everybody and they can understand how this thing works. The big boys of the Gambia, they sell you a plot of land. Go ask them. The plot of land is 400,000. If you give me those kind of amount, I don't care where you have a plot of land, I will get you all of your paperwork all the way to occupancy. That's how this thing works. And that's why we do what we do. But for now, we have decided that anybody that buys land from us will give you an option that we can do all the occupancy, and it's going to be extra cost. If you think that you can do it on your own, we encourage you to do it on your own. It's even less for us because we are not going to be charging mighty for it. Number one, we'll charge you all the fees. The fees that you are not going to see receipts for are the Alcalo and the Freehold. Those people, you pay them, they take the money and they stamp it. They don't give you receipt. That's how it is. I wish they give us receipts so that we can be more legitimate. Number two, the amount of driving back and forth, gas that you waste and time that you waste going back and forth, that's not going to be shown on this receipt. So that's going to be an extra cost that we will add onto this. And the price that's going to be not unknown until we do this calculation is going to be the capital gains. And as you can see, the capital gains is not going to be mighty high as other people will put it. So when the lawyers charge you this stuff, they put this thing at a high rate, and I will just go ahead and tell anybody that's buying from us, before you take our service to do the capital gains and occupancy and all of it, go ask a lawyer to do it for you. You know, for us, we don't even want to do this because it's going to take too much time from Musu. But she has done it over and over, and she knows the places, knows the people, and we have the credibility, and we think we can do it, and we think we can do it faster than people are saying. So we don't want to put a time value. We have started it for a couple of our customers from the Sanyang estate. And then we'll do it. Once we finish it, we can tell people this is how long it takes, this is what it cost us, this is how much it's going to cost you. And if anybody wants us to do it, we'll do it. And if anybody wants to tackle it on their own too, we'll wish you good luck, and we'll just tell you it's a big headache. And people that are wanting to hire a lawyer, I don't have anything against the lawyers in the Gambia. We hired lawyers 3 times in the Gambia to do stuff for us. And I will bring all of those things on the channel here and bring the proofs, and so that some of the lawyers in the Gambia, it's better you go and do it on your own than hire them. I know they're going to be mad with me when they hear this, but that's my take on this. You know, these YouTubers and these people that are trying to tell people advice and do all these things, man, I'm telling you, some of them are just trying to get subscribers. I am yet to beg for a subscriber, and I have 400 and something. So I want to thank everybody that subscribed, of course. You know what I mean? I'm not in this thing for subscription. I'm in this thing to further my business, but more importantly, to bring sanity back to the real estate market in the Gambia. I stated it from my first video, and I have a heck of a good job here. My wife has a heck of a good job here, and she said never to mention that again. She was furious when I showed our degrees and stuff. We don't have to do this to be okay. We are okay here in the US. We own our home. It's pretty much paid off. We got a little bit to go. Anybody who knows the US knows that you have a mortgage for 30 years. We have very few more years to go to pay off our mortgage and finish. And I know my wife is going to be mighty angry with this. We have several plots of land in the Gambia that if we sold today, we would have paid everything that we owe, and have a lot of things that we can save in the bank for our retirement. So we don't have to do this per se. And since I started this business, I am here and saying that I proudly hired some folks in the Gambia, and we just hired a new guy because we have an office there at the Tropic building. That's the new building that everybody is crazy about on Senegambia Highway there. If you go to Gambia, go check it out. Our office is there. It's one of the tiniest offices, of course. We don't have much money to run the big offices, but that's where we have our office. And it's not in the front, of course, it's in the back. It's okay. We are creeping. But I just want to say that since we started this business, I'm yet to make a paycheck out of this. I have never taken a dime out of this business yet and said, this is my paycheck. Because I know what I'm building. And to me, the future is more important. To me, anybody that buys land from us or not buy land from us, the most important thing you can do for me, and I get a lot of calls, all of these people, I hope they come and type, oh man, I shouldn't be using my fingers here and doing all these things, but I'm just genuine. That's me. I do it like I like to do it. No editing on this. When I'm ready, it's going to be posted like it is. So I would like for those people to come and say, hey, I talked to him, and somebody called me yesterday and said that, man, I just come across as a very genuine person and praise me and all of that. To me, that's more important. It's not like I'm happy with the praising and the and all of that thing, but I'm happy that somebody somebody trust me. Oh, that battery is very low. Somebody trust me big time. So I'm gonna end this here and say thank you guys. Appreciate it. And after people watch this, then I can talk to them. And I will leave it at this. I know it's a long video, but hopefully it's educational. Hopefully somebody learns something out of this video. Thank you guys. Bye.